What's going on, y'all? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Pandemic Rapid Response at the Grand Canyon. Make sure you stay tuned because afterwards we're going to come back over here and then I'm going to be doing a review of Pandemic Rapid Response.
Okay.
So who goes first? All right, we'll start the timer. I'll go first. I'm trying to get the white. This electricity, actually, I'll use one and I'll move over here to the electricity. So I used this one, the electricity, 1, 2, 3, and then I get 4, and that gives me 2 electricity. Here, put the 2 over there.
Are you
And
gonna
then, what am I
use any
doing?
die?
Huh?
Did you already move that?
Yeah, I use this to move, and oh, I use this to move the plane.
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
All right. Oh, okay. Well, I need to roll this. Keep going. I need to roll this to see how much waste. 1, 2, 3 waste. Uh-oh.
So you're there and there. We want to get there. So I'm just gonna stay and try to get 1 green,
Okay.
and then I'll go over here to get 1 yellow,
Okay.
and then I'll come here.
Well, then I'll go over here to get the
When do we
blue
need to drop
and the
it?
red. We only need 1. How many red?
Okay. And then whoever can get these really easy, then they can go in there.
Wait, 3 red equals 1, which we need 1. And then over here, 3 blue, and then you have to unlock it. That's 1, 2, 3 waste, and what is that? It's at 8, so that's 9, 10, and that's a losing game. That's it. We lost. Pandemic is a series of games where you're trying to slow or stop the spread of a virus causing a worldwide pandemic. Now, in Pandemic Rapid Response, you're going to be using your dice and you're going to be trying to gain supplies. It could be water, electricity, food, vaccinations, bandages. You're trying to collect these supplies and deliver them to cities that are in need in a certain amount of time. And different cities have different needs. So like Bogota needs water, they need food, and they need vaccinations. Then your objective is to deliver it to that city. But if you're over here in Hong Kong, you have to use your dice to roll airplanes. So airplanes are the purple one here. You have to roll the airplanes. Now the airplane result will move the plane token 1 space per result you have. So if you have 2 airplane results, you can move the token 2 spaces. So once you fly all the way around the board, either way, to the city, you have to be able to deliver what they need. So Bogota needs 2 water, 1 food, and a vaccination. So so they need 2 water. That would go here. 1 food. And then they need vaccination. So once you're in Bogota, you still need to roll another airplane so that way you can open the hatch and release those supplies into that city. So let's go ahead and jump into the review. I have rated the game on 6 major areas. So those areas are going to be the component quality. So of course, how well the components feel. Are they cheap? Do they feel nice? Things like that. We have rulebook to table. So how fast can you read the rulebook and be able to play it? And then we also have the ease of explaining. So we have ease of explaining as well as the complexity. So that means if you're a new board gamer, never played a board game, how well somebody can explain the rules to you and you'd be able to play. And then we have the complexity rating overall, which is how hard it is or how difficult the game is. Next, we have the player count. So the player count on this game is 2 to 4. So I'll let you know how well it plays at 2, 3, and 4. Then we have the theme. So of course, how well the theme comes out in it. We have the replayability, how often I would replay it. And then finally, overall, do I think you should get it? So the first thing I'm going to go over is the component quality. We have these really nice dice. And what makes them really nice is that each of the icons are engraved into it instead of just painted on or printed on. And that's what I think is really nice. It's going to make your dice last a lot longer, especially if you played a lot, things like that. Hourglass, typical hourglass. The airplane token, it's not bad. It does come apart sometimes, so it's a little gripe there. The supply cubes, those are really nice as well. Sturdy plastic. The board is a good, just a regular game board. Then we have the city cards. They have that linen finish, which makes them really smooth, really easy to shuffle, and then, they also feel nice in your hand. So the component rating overall, I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. A 7 only because the plane comes apart, so I wish that would actually stick in there a little bit better. And the board, sometimes you have to kind of shift it so that way it sits straight. Like if you can see, this is still kind of coming up here a little bit. So 7 out of 10 on the components. Then we have the rulebook to table. So how fast can you read the rulebook and then be able to play the game? So this is only about 6.5 to 7 pages. So if you really wanted to, you can read the rulebook on game night and still be able to play that same night. So in that aspect, I give it a 9 out of 10. Next, we have the ease of explaining to new players as well as the complexity rating overall. So the ease of explaining it to new players is probably about a 7 out of 10, only because it will definitely take you a few practice rounds to get everything correct. Because sometimes you might not roll the planes and you forget that you need the planes to move the plane, or you might forget that you need to roll a plane to open the hatch, things like that. So that's a 7 out of 10. The overall complexity rating is about a 3 because once you go around once or twice, then you'll get the hang of it. So pretty easy game to pick up. Then we have the player count. So the player count for this game is 2 to 4 players. So 2, 3, and 4 players. At 2 players, you're definitely going to want to be playing a little bit more strategic because it's really difficult if you are both on one side of the aircraft and you're kind of ignoring the other side of the aircraft. So you might want to split the aircraft up into 2 and have one person do one side and the other person do the other side, but definitely a lot more strategy involved in 2 players. At 3 players, it's a little bit easier because then you can separate the aircraft into 3 parts instead of 2 parts. And then, of course, you still have a lot more strategy going on because you want to make sure everybody knows what they're in charge of and what they're doing. Now, at 4 players, I think 4 players is where this game shines. It's where it plays the best because you can have one player focusing on moving the plane and then focusing on rolling the plane results as well as taking care of recycling, while the other 3 players collect and gather supplies needed for that specific city or even a next city over. So the player count overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, but it's definitely better with 2 or 4 players. Then we have the theme being getting supplies to the cities that are in need as fast as possible, as well as, flying the plane around. I think that theme comes out really well, especially with the timer. You're running around, you're like, okay, I need these supplies, I need those supplies. Somebody get the plane moving, or somebody open the hatch, we got to deliver these supplies. Because if the supplies get backed up, then you can't hold any more supplies. So I think the theme comes out really well. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10 as well. Replayability, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 overall because sometimes the games don't last as long as you would like them to. You can set it up and then within 5 minutes you lose or you can win. And then also it can get a little repetitive sometimes, especially if you have 4 players, they're all doing the same thing. Collect the supplies, deliver it to the cities, go to this city, collect more supplies, keep delivering it. Just a little repetitive sometimes. Still a fun game though. And then finally, do I think you should get this game? That is going to be a definitely, you should, especially if you're a fan of the Pandemic series, this is a great addition to it. Because of the chaos that ensues around playing the game. We need more vaccinations here, or we need more water here. Somebody moved the plane. We forgot to flip the sand timer. You need to recycle this or recycle that. Very chaotic, but it's very fun at the same time. So definitely need to get it. And also, if you don't have Pandemic, it's a great Pandemic game to start with. If you enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to see more grand reviews, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. I'll be posting more videos soon. Thanks for watching The Other Board Gamer.